Clearly, remaining single could make one infinitely stronger. But I have crossed over to a sect that mandates pairing up disciples. In order not to be noticed by the female cultivators of the sect, you not only actively hide your cultivation level to work as a servant, but also spend all day drinking with your head held high, shouting that I should be wandering freely in the martial world. What a joyful feeling. Thus, you finally achieved your wish and remained single for 3 years. Your cultivation quickly broke through to the reason realm. Just when you were ready to ascend to immortality alone, unexpectedly, you were chosen to participate in the partner selection ceremony. At this moment, on the stage of the venue, stand the only 3 remaining single men and women of the Yin-Yang sect. They are respectively the unmatched beauty of the contemporary empress, reincarnated Lu Riyuan, the fated protagonist with the supreme ancient worldly potential, Long Aocean, and you, the quiet guy who likes to wear a jade pendant around her neck, Lu Bo. Seeing this scene, you let out a long sigh and feel at ease. These two are clearly a perfect match in anyone's eyes. You just need to go through the motions yourself. However, today, Long Aocean is filled with excitement. He has secretly loved Lu Riyuan for 3 whole years. From the first time he saw Lu Riyuan, he vowed that he would not marry anyone but Lu Riyuan in this lifetime. Today, he would finally get his wish fulfilled. He looked towards the distant Lu Riyuan, who was standing gracefully, with a look of obsession. In the distance, Lu Riyuan wore a plain white long dress. Her skin was snow white, her face as beautiful as frost and snow, ethereal and otherworldly, like a fairy. On her perfect and flawless face, 2 eyes filled with a hint of mischief and roguishness sparkled. It added a touch of nobility to his already cool demeanor. Like a goddess descending from the 9th heaven at dawn, only to be admired from afar, never to be desecrated. Half a lifetime. Long Aocean reluctantly pulled his gaze away from Lu Riyuan. He looked at you, who was squatting down and picking your nose. His gaze contained 3 parts disdain, 4 parts mockery, and 7 parts indifference. Just as he was about to open his mouth to mock you, you directly filled your dantian with energy. Your voice resonated throughout the entire venue. Don't pick me. The 2 of us are impossible. Don't talk about how I, Long Aocean, will dedicate myself to protecting Lu Bo. Long Aocean stood there in shock for half a lifetime. Once he came back to his senses, his face turned bright red. He gritted his teeth and said, "Where did this trash come from? It's simply nonsensical. Just a mere servant. You aren't even worthy of speaking to me." After saying that, he took a deep breath. He calmed his emotions. He gazed affectionately at Lu Riyuan. "Junior sister Riyuan. Since 3 years ago, I have deeply loved you. In this lifetime, I will only marry you, junior sister. If you are willing to become my Dao companion, I swear to protect you with my life. Junior sister Riyuan. Be my Dao partner." Once these words were spoken, the surrounding disciples cheered. Some female disciples were so moved that they were in tears. The sect elders also stroked their beards with satisfaction. They specifically delayed Lu Riyuan and Long Aocean until the end, just to bring them together. Once the 2 are united, they will practice the sect's cultivation techniques. Their future achievements will be limitless. As for Lu Bo, that reserved guy is just there to make up the numbers. The elder hosting the ceremony smiled at Lu Riyuan. "Riyuan, the time limit has arrived. Choose your desired Dao partner." Lu Riyuan's expression was calm and serene. Her gaze swept over Long Aocean and you. She slowly spoke. "I choose." All the disciples focused intently. Their eyes didn't blink as they looked at her. Even many were ready to clap and cheer, cheering for her and Long Aocean. Lu Bo. Lu Riyuan's red lips parted, creating a melodious sound. The disciples who were about to clap all stood there, stunned. Each one was dumbfounded in place. Long Aocean's face turned ashen, as if struck by lightning. He had waited for 3 whole years. He never expected such a result. Why should he? Why is he better than a lowly servant disciple? You squatting on the ground picking your nose, got anxious. While flicking a clump of black, sticky booger, you flicked it towards Long Aocean, while shouting at Lu Riyuan. "Fairy, you should think carefully. What do you really see in me? Is it my age? Or is it my lack of bathing?" The elder on the high platform also grew anxious. He hurriedly advised. "Riyuan, you need to think this through. The dual cultivation technique benefits the one with a higher cultivation level. The greater the benefit. Why not reconsider? It's not too late to regret now." "I don't regret it," Lu Riyuan said softly. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, the elder didn't know what else to say. Could only reluctantly announce. "I announce. Lu Bo, a miscellaneous disciple of Luoxia Peak, has successfully paired with Lu Riyuan, a disciple of the outer sect of Luoxia Peak. Successfully paired up. Binding as a pair." Upon hearing the elder's words, Long Aocean's face twisted in anger. He roared. 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west. Mutual understanding but poor youth. Lu Riyuan. You will regret this. After saying that, he turned and left in anger. And you, who were still worried, suddenly felt the jade plate on your chest become hot. The system's notification sound rang in your ears. "Congratulations, host, for pairing up with the thief girl for the first time. Obtained the blessing of marriage. From now on, the cultivation obtained by the thief girl will be returned tenfold to the host. What the host grants to the thief girl, cultivation techniques, divine abilities, and treasures, will also be returned to the host at 10 times the value of the treasures. Returned to the host. That's right. You're wearing the jade plate, certainly not to pretend to be a simpleton. The jade plate is actually transformed by the system. Although the blessing of becoming stronger from being single is gone, this blessing of marriage feels pretty good too. After all, Lu Riyuan is the reincarnation of the Empress of wealth and fortune that surpasses the heavens. Feeling that this deal is not a loss, you leave the stage happily. The disciples below the stage watched you with wide eyes. You left Lu Ryuan alone on the stage. There was no handholding. There was no dual cultivation. You just walked away like that. Then they saw again. Lu Ryuan actually went over to follow you. At this moment, an emotion called extreme feeling emerged in the hearts of all the male disciples. After arriving at a secluded spot, you turned your head and said to Lu Ryuan, "That's enough. You don't need to see me off. You can go back now." Lu Ryuan frowned slightly, then coldly said, "Aren't you curious why I chose you?" At this moment, you tentatively asked. Lu Ryuan's beautiful eyes twinkled. Then she composed herself and looked at you with a sly expression, lowered her eyelids, saying, "To be honest, I am confident in myself. I possess a rare celestial root, and I believe that on my own, I can also break through to the legendary earthly realm. I don't want to rely on a man. And as for Long Aocean, he not only wishes to be my dual cultivation partner, but also wants to be my man. Why would I casually give my body away so frivolously? Choosing you is simply because the Yin Yang sect requires male and female disciples to cultivate together. Besides, you are easy to control, and you won't restrain me. So, you can rest assured. Is this okay? You really are worried that he might see through your system. It's better this way, to relax a bit with a fairy during dual cultivation, lying low and getting stronger secretly. How enjoyable. Speaking of which, I've used you as a shield, and I have indeed caused you trouble. Keep working hard in your cultivation. Once you open your spiritual meridians, you can come find me for dual cultivation every 10 days. This will benefit both our cultivation. Furthermore, if Long Aocean gives you trouble, you can also tell me. I will take care of him. This is the reward snacks given by the elder. We each get 10 pieces. I've given them all to you. Lu Ryuan tossed a storage bag to you. Then she flew away directly on her sword. What a wonderful girl. You suddenly felt the joy of being pampered after being revived. By evening, you returned to your residence. Just as you lay on the bed, ready to fall into a deep sleep, a surge of masculine spiritual energy abruptly appeared within you. Host Lu Ryuan has broken through her cultivation. The secondary effect returns the breakthrough of Lu Ryuan. It increases the cultivation by tenfold. Host Lu Ryuan used a secret method to elevate her spiritual roots. The secondary effect returns Lu Ryuan's spiritual roots. The elevation effect is 10 times stronger. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a mutated heavenly spiritual root. At this moment, lying in bed, your face was beaming with joy. Your dear wife is really working hard. What reason do you have not to strive for success? So gritting your teeth and stealing your heart, you closed your eyes and fell into a deep sleep. Why does Lu Ryuan, a chi refinement disciple, some audience members said, have a higher score than you? Why do you care so much about the scoring system? It alienates a person's efforts. Do you understand the difference between alienation and concretization? Let me give you an example. I diligently cultivate every day. I just lie down and waste my time every day. At the end of the month, when it's time to settle scores, my cultivation path gets the MVP award. I just lie at home and sleep every day. Yet the score of the slacker this month is 3-0. My cultivation path has a big improvement with a score of 13-0. Carry team. Can this even be counted? Why do you care about this score so much? Doesn't it specifically reflect what you did? It's tiring to hide my cultivation and not show off. It's exhausting, you know. At this point, Long Aocean returned to his residence. Undine, a fit of rage, smashed everything in the room to pieces. He shouted furiously, "Lu Bo, you are already on the path to certain death." After venting his anger, Long Aocean calmed down and devised a plan. As long as Lu Bo disappears forever, Lu Ryuan will have no choice but to choose him, right? He chuckled coldly and summoned his subordinates to give orders. Your door was quietly opened by someone. It was Lao Ma, the steward of the miscellaneous tasks in your area. This Lao Ma usually flatters those above and bullies those below. I've caused you quite a bit of trouble before. Lao Ma saw you sleeping soundly on the bed. A sly smile appeared on his face. He pulled out a dagger from his pocket. He was ready to stab it into your chest. Just as he approached the bed to make his move, you suddenly opened your eyes wide. But you smiled and said, "You came so late." Long Aocean sure can be patient. Lao Ma was startled by you, but he quickly calmed down. "You little brat have a bit of cleverness," he mocked. "That's right. It was young Master Long who sent me. You can't even imagine how powerful the Long family is. They have strong cultivators at the core formation stage to vouch for them. They could crush you with just a finger. You, a worthless fool, think you can compete for Lu Fairy? You're just a toad dreaming of eating swan meat." After hearing Lao Ma's words, your expression remained unchanged. You silently gazed at the full moon outside the window. Lao Ma let out a sneer. He was about to open his mouth to ridicule you. Suddenly, a pressure from a Yuan Yin expert swept over. He felt as if he had been struck by a giant dragon. He fell to the ground. His face was covered in blood. He exclaimed in shock, "How could you possibly be at the Yuan Yin level?" You replied calmly, "There is a moon tonight. It's suitable for drinking and refining swords. To kill." Then, with a flick of your fingers, a thick sword chi shaped like a crescent moon sliced across Lao Ma's neck. In the next moment, the previously arrogant Lao Ma reached out to touch. You let out a helpless sigh. "A beautiful woman who causes trouble. It seems I can't be low-key anymore." Immediately, you waved your hand grandly. Except for the valuables on Lao Ma, everything else turned to ashes. You opened his storage item. You found only a celestial herb inside. It was a nearly 30-year-old three-needled flower. Just right. I'll give it to my beloved wife to try out tomorrow. Then you got up and picked up the shovel. You dug a deep pit in the medicinal recipe. You threw Lao Ma's corpse into it. Then you buried the pit. You planted herbs on top to destroy the evidence. After a hard time, you finally finished. You went back to your room and poured a cup of tea. Then you went back to check for any mistakes. You arrived by the medicinal recipe. You took a look in the moonlight. You stood frozen on the spot. You saw an extra pit on the ground. There was a faint sucking sound coming from the pit. Has it been discovered so quickly? You tiptoed over carefully. You looked down into the pit. The scene before you sent chills down your spine. You saw a white, unknown creature. It was crouched on top of Lao Ma. It was busy with its head down. You looked closely for a while. Then you realized it was a small white fox. It wasn't eating the corpse. It was absorbing the remaining spiritual energy from the corpse. After a moment, the little fox absorbed all the spiritual energy. It raised its little face and made a precious gesture. One person and one pot, 4 eyes met. The little fox was startled. It immediately puffed up its fur. It raised its head, ripping at its teeth. Its eyes shimmered with a green glow. It glared at you fiercely. Above the large pit. Meanwhile, in midair, a gigantic, blurry figure faintly emerged. The apparition was about the size of a small hill. It looked like a fox. Its eyes were blood red and fierce. Its pupils resembled the starry sky. There was a vast sea of stars. Behind it, 9 gigantic tiger tails gently swayed. Throughout the yin-yang sect, not a single powerful being sensed it. Are you the spirit beast the wind ran out from? You curiously asked. Knowing wild, the little fox saw that you meant no harm. It also put away its fierce expression. It replied very seriously. Then what are you doing here? I'm hungry. The little fox jumped up from the pit. It squatted by the dirt. It looked at you with its big, round eyes blinking. Aren't you afraid of me? Aren't you afraid of me? One person in a kettle of chi-chi asked. Why would I be afraid of you? You asked curiously. I'm a talking spirit beast, you know. So what? As a mere servant disciple, you don't understand what it means for a spirit beast to speak. After all, you have seen an electric beast that can produce 100,000 volts before. I can sense the malice of others. But you don't have any. Other humans see me and want to kill me to eat my flesh, or capture me to sign a master-servant contract. But you didn't. So I'm not afraid of you. The little fox's voice is like a child's. Soft and gentle. You laughed upon hearing that. You're quite interesting. So are you full? No. I saw you just eating spiritual energy. Do you feed on spiritual energy? Yeah. But absorbing natural spiritual energy is slow. That's why I came to absorb the bodies of the recently deceased. Seeing the little fox's pitiful appearance, you took out a piece of your own spiritual food and handed it to the little fox. The little fox was robust. Yan Mang received it. It opened its little mouth. It crunched it up and swallowed it. This scene left you dumbfounded. That was spiritual food. Harder than spiritual energy itself. Even as someone known for your experience, you cannot easily destroy it with your physical body. Yet the little fox crunched it up like that. Does it have such good teeth? Are you full? No. Can you give me another piece? You took out another piece of spiritual food and handed it to the little fox. Spiritual food isn't much use to you. The little fox took the spiritual food with its small paw. It didn't eat it, but placed it behind itself. Then it made a special gesture. It looked at you with those fox-like eyes. He awkwardly turned his head away. He explained, I'm afraid if I get hungrier, you won't give me any more. You didn't say much more. Be good to this little fox. It's just a feeling towards the actor. You looked down at the corpse in the pit. You sighed. You said, you seem happy even with your daftness. What am I going to do about this corpse? What you dug up is all bloodstains. It'll be a problem if someone finds it tomorrow. The little fox looked at the corpse, then looked at you. After hesitating for a moment, with great effort, it took a deep breath, then exhaled a stream of white mist. The white mist reached the corpse. The corpse melted at a visible speed. Finally, it transformed into a small red ball. The little fox jumped into the pit, then brought the small ball back up. It handed it to you and said, this is the essence of that person's blood. You should eat it. It will help with your cultivation. I'm definitely not eating this thing. You took the small ball and casually tossed it onto the ground. The small ball rolled under a herb, then transformed into specks of energy, which were absorbed by that herb. Shockingly, that newly sprouted herb actually matured instantly. You didn't see it, though. Picked up the iron shovel, filled the pit again, planted the herbs again. Now it's good. No one will be able to find it. After doing all this, you took the iron shovel and walked back. The little fox said, all right, the problem is solved. Let's go rest. You stopped in your tracks. You turned your head to look at the little fox. Slowly, you began to speak. What are you following me for? You look quite fierce. Where should I go then? The little fox looked fierce as well. Go back to your home. Don't you have a mother? I don't have a home. I have always been hiding here and there. Afraid of being seen by others. Afraid of being captured and treated as a mere pet. It's rare to meet someone who means no harm to me. A great benefactor who is willing to share snacks with me. A kind person. Of course, I'm not leaving. Did you just let something slip? You look completely skeptical. No, you didn't. You heard wrong. The little fox looked completely serious. Don't worry. I'm easy to take care of. A piece of snack every few days is enough for me. You thought about it. The little fox is not a threat at all. Moreover, it's a little helper for handling bodies. Seems quite nice. Alright then. From now on, I'll call you Keisai. Keisai. You waved at the little fox. Walking towards the house. The little fox still looked fierce. Although it didn't quite understand, it still felt a sense of unnameable anger. Back in the house. You took off your shoes. You lay down on the bed. You fell into a dream. After you fell into a deep sleep, the little fox came to your bedside. A swirl of pink mist appeared. In the next moment, a pair of long, elegant legs stepped slowly out of the mist. Under the moonlight, a girl with an incredibly alluring figure appeared gracefully, stunningly beautiful. She wore a flowing purple silk dress, with a slightly deep neckline, revealing her snow-white, delicate skin. Her eyes sparkled like autumn waters, capable of captivating the soul with a single glance. When she smiled, a subtle fragrance seemed to waft through the air. The natural scent of her alluring body radiated like orchids. Surrounded by swirling clouds, it stirred a primal passion. Even amidst the powerful meditation of the stars, it was hard to resist the longing upon catching a whiff. The girl let out a soft laugh, and the entire room seemed to light up. Then, she climbed onto the bed and hugged you directly, using her charm that drives all men into a frenzy with her alluring curves. She pressed tightly against you. The next morning, you woke up with a particularly sore waist. You felt as if your entire being had been drained. Last night, you dreamed of being with an exquisite fox spirit. You look at the little fox on the bedside. Its expression is strange. Being single for so long, no matter how you look at the little fox, it seems delicate and handsome. The little fox sees the look in your eyes. It immediately bristles up. What kind of look is that? I'm asking you. Do you want to sell me off? Answer me. Look into my eyes. Your expression is awkward. What are you barking about? I'm just wondering how you ended up in my bed. By the way, I'll go get you some sunshine to cleanse yourself. After sending off the little fox, you suddenly remember what you harvested yesterday. The 35-year-old spirit flower. You take it out from your storage realm to check. It must be delicious. The little fox's eyes sparkle with greed. It pounces over, wanting to eat the flower. You quickly grab it in your hand. You plan to give this flower to Lu Ryuan, and then return it as a blessing of relationship. A 350-year-old spirit flower. Wouldn't that be a huge profit? In the little fox's resentful gaze, you put the spirit flower into your storage bag. Then, in the little fox's resentful gaze, you casually cut off the connection to fate. You toss her a regular spirit flower. The little fox bites the flower angrily, as if it's taking out its anger on you. Then you take the little fox along. You lie down on the yard's bench. The little fox is full and satisfied. It curls up on you and falls asleep. A large and a small one basked in the sun outside. By the time the sun was about to set, you lazily stretched your body. You headed towards Lu Ruan's residence with the little fox. Down the mountain, you arrived at the luxurious residential area halfway down the mountain. In the distance, you spotted an exquisite and elegant two-story white loft. It was indeed Lu Ruan's residence. It exuded a strong aura of wealth. However, at this gate, you encountered the last person you wanted to see. Long Aocean. Long Aocean stood at the entrance of the yard outside the loft, talking with the maid at the door. Young Master Long. The young lady has been in closed door cultivation since last night. She said she wouldn't see anyone before she comes out. She won't meet anyone at all. Please go back. The handsome Long Aocean frowned at this moment. It's okay. Then I'll just wait here. I suppose it won't take her long to break through a chi refining stage. It shouldn't take more than a few days. Thank you for your understanding, young Master Long. Long Aocean nodded. He was about to turn his head to look at the scenery down the mountain, but turning around, he saw the person he disliked the most. Yesterday, Lu Ryuan came back and went into closed door cultivation immediately. He didn't see. Came again today. He wanted to ask Lu Ryuan properly. Where exactly was he lacking, compared to that unambitious simpleton who can't cultivate? But today, what a coincidence. They ran into each other. Enemies meet again. You're still alive. Long Aocean squinted his eyes. He asked, Brother Long, what do you mean by that? I'm doing just fine, junior brother. Why can't I be alive? I can eat and sleep. Upon hearing this, Long Aocean narrowed his eyes again. According to the servant's information about that shabby servant hall, it's really unreliable. He might have run away with the money. And yet, this guy has survived until now. What are you doing here? This is the core disciple area. You, a mere servant, can't just come here. Long Aocean said with a sneer. I came here. Of course, it's to find me. It's because Lu Ryuan is cultivating with someone. However, I'm not very familiar with dual cultivation. I want to ask senior brother Long for guidance. During dual cultivation, do I need to be close to Ryuan? Should our palms face each other? Or should I place my hand on Ruan's back while cultivating? Hearing your wolfish words, Long Aocean's anger has hit the roof. He's pursued Lu Ryuan for many years. He's always considered her as his own. But you deliberately brought this up in front of him. It's like you're slapping him hard in the face. You this bumpkin. You actually want to dual cultivate with his goddess. Long Aocean was seething with rage. He could no longer control himself. He gathered spiritual energy in his hand, forming a massive fiery palm. At that moment, it shot towards you. The door to the loft in the yard opened. Lu Ryuan walked out from inside. With a wave of her hand, she effortlessly dissipated the massive fiery palm. Lu Ryuan looked coldly at Long Aocean. She said, Dan Ran. Senior brother Long. You openly attacked me in front of my door. Do you not take me seriously? Long Aocean instantly changed his demeanor. He smiled ingratiatingly and said, Junior sister. Senior brother, I specifically came to congratulate you on your breakthrough. I wanted to say a few words to you. I didn't expect to run into junior brother Lu, so I thought I would exchange some ideas with him. Lu Ruan's expression was cold. I have nothing to say to you. Senior brother, please go back. Lu Bo. Come in. I have something to say to you. Alright, senior sister. Don't look aside. Walk past Long Aocean with an air of confidence. He followed her. Robust. Long Aocean was almost driven mad. He had waited for quite a while. Junior sister Lu wouldn't even let him in. And yet, you said not a word. But you can enter her criteria. This is truly outrageous. This is bullying. After arriving at the first floor of the loft, Lu Ruyuan sat down on the mat in front of the tea table. She extended her hand to point at the mat opposite the tea table. Her posture was elegant. She said, "Junior brother, please take a seat." You sat down opposite her. Lu Ruyuan picked up the teapot. She poured a cup of tea and handed it to you. "Thank you, senior sister." You appeared calm. Lu Ruyuan nodded to herself. Very few men could remain composed in front of her beauty. So composed. And then, you gently touched the sword in the cabinet. Suddenly, another one appeared in your hand. A 3-stamen flower as tall as the house. What is that smell? So fragrant, so fragrant. The little fox sleeping on your neck. After smelling the fragrance of the 3-stamen flower, immediately it opened its eyes wide. Its eyes sparkled as it looked at the 3-stamen flower. Lu Ruyuan glanced at the little fox. Just now, she thought it was on your neck. What a lovely scarf it is. I didn't expect it to be a spirit beast. It's such a cute spirit beast. Can I hold her? Even in her aloofness, Lu Ruyuan is still a woman. For a creature as adorably cute as a little fox, I have no resistance at all. You smiled awkwardly. You placed the 3 treasures flower on the table. You said, "Senior sister, how about this 3 treasures flower?" Upon hearing this, Lu Ruyuan looked at it and calmly said, "This 3 treasures flower is the main ingredient for crafting the spirit-infused pill? Judging by its size, it should be decades of medicinal spirit. It could be worth a few hundred spirit stones, right? A 30-year 3 treasures flower is nothing special for Lu Ruyuan. It doesn't matter at all. She's not particularly fond of it. If it were a 3 treasures flower with 100 years of medicinal spirit, it might catch her attention. Since that's the case, then I'll give this flower to my senior sister." "To me?" Lu Ruyuan looked surprised. Then she said, "A 3 treasures flower with decades of medicinal spirit is still relatively rare. It's worth a few hundred spirit stones. That's not a small amount for you either. Why are you giving it to me? Junior brother, your talents are limited. Using this flower would be a waste. Senior sister, you are exceptionally talented. And you also know alchemy. So I'll give this 3 treasures flower to you, senior sister. Only then can resources be fully utilized. Junior brother is a disciple tasked with planting herbs. There's nothing impressive to show. I am grateful for your kindness, senior sister. I sincerely hope you will accept it, senior sister." Lu Ruyuan is not someone who enjoys being indebted to others. But I feel somewhat indebted. If I were to refuse your sincere intentions, it would make me seem unreasonable. It would be rather unfeeling. After all, she has caused you to suffer from Long Aotian's jealousy and murderous intent. Well then, I do need this herb for alchemy. I will accept it. However, I can't take your things for free. I can pay you at 12% above market price. For your Sanjian flower, it's worth 300 spirit stones. I'll give you 360. No need for that. Between principals, talking about money feels distant. Moreover, junior brother, I really don't need spirit stones. Lu Ruyuan shot a strange glance at him. This guy can't really be thinking of her as principals, right? Well, then, it does seem a bit inappropriate to talk about business. How about this? I will also give you a treasure in return. Lu Ruyuan took out a jade pendant from the rich mists of the mountains. She handed it to you, saying, "You are now on Long Aotian's radar. This is my fault. I will arrange for my family to negotiate with him as soon as possible. During this time, you must take good care of yourself. This is a protective jade pendant. Inside is the stored spiritual power and formations from my ancestors. Spiritual power and magical formations. It is used for protection. It can withstand 3 attacks below a certain level. You just need to input spiritual energy to activate it. By the way, you have spiritual energy now, right? I see you can already access the storage realm. I can now. I took the spiritual energy pill my senior sister gave me last night. I have already gathered spiritual energy. I can start cultivating now. You received the jade pendant. It even carries Lu Ruwan's gentle image. Especially alluring. That's good. However, if you're willing to give me that little spiritual beast, I can give you an even better spiritual treasure." Lu Ruwan's gaze landed on the little fox. That look carried a hint of affection and indulgence. The little fox said, its fur bristling all over. It stared at you and said, "You even said you wouldn't sell me. I really don't want to sell you. Then you're planning to give me away, aren't you? I won't give you away either. If you dare, I will scratch your face. Let you see my strength." The little fox fiercely waved its tiny paw, proving it was strong. But that childish voice and serious tone, this sense of contrast, only makes her seem more cute and endearing. Lu Ruyuan liked her even more after seeing this. Your expression turned pale. The little fox is my beloved companion. Brothers by blood, huh? Need to pay more. The little fox was quite happy to hear the first half. When it heard the latter part, it opened its mouth in anger and was ready to bite you. You smiled and held the little fox. You explained, "Senior sister, I'm sorry. I have raised this little fox for many years. We have a deep bond. I really can't give it away." Lu Ruyuan thinks even more highly of you in her heart. She feels that you not only value loyalty, but also won't blindly obey her to please her. You can communicate with her as equals. She gave a gentle smile. And gifted the little fox to Lu Ruyuan. What kind of spirit beast will the blessing of marriage return to you? Will it allow you to directly become the master of 9 tails? But this little fox is quite adorable. Its temperament matches yours quite well. Both have a lazy, laid-back nature. You really feel a bit reluctant. Lu Ruyuan picked up the 3-needle flower and placed it into her storage bag. In your mind, the system's prompt also appeared. The host gives a spirit 3-needle flower to their partner for 35 years. Receive tenfold blessings in return. A single spirit needle flower requires 350 years to grow. Hearing this sound, only then are you finally satisfied. Then he stood up and clasped his fists in salute. Senior sister. Junior brother, the matter is settled. I will take my leave first. If I acquire rare treasures in the future, I will still give them to senior sister. I hope senior sister will not refuse. Farewell. Okay, take care. Be careful on the road. Lu Ruyuan replied politely. It gave off a feeling of a virtuous little wife. Watching you leave without hesitation. Lu Ruyuan slightly frowned. She was a bit confused about you. She initially thought, you came to seek dual cultivation with her to increase your skills. She is quite resistant to such dual cultivation matters. Even if it's not about doing those intimate things. But there still needs to be physical contact with a man. She doesn't like that much. But unexpectedly, you came over. It was really just to give her flowers. Moreover, your manner of speaking and conduct were impeccable. That made her quite appreciative. In her past life, she ascended to the throne through solitary cultivation. She has seen too much scheming and power struggles. And the 3 true flowers were clearly precious to you. Yet you gave them to her without hesitation. Your sincere heart touched her a bit. The ancestor of love once said, if she is inexperienced in the world, take her to see the wonders of the world. If she has faced many hardships, take her to ride the carousel. Unknowingly, you have already planted a seed in the Empress's heart. After going out, you went down the mountain all the way, without returning to your residence. Towards the auction house instead. You're planning to sell the 3 treasures flower, to buy some snacks and cultivation tools. You should know that although your cultivation has reached the Yuan Ying level, you currently don't even have a decent immortal sword. That's really pathetic. Upon arriving at the auction house, you walk into a beautifully decorated room with an elegant vintage charm. Inside, there's a kin-faced old cultivator with a white beard. I am Lao. Fellow cultivator, please take a seat. After you sit down, you take out 5 snacks and say, Elder, I want to sell a spiritual herb. Could you please help me authenticate it? Elder with a green beard. But filial piety is just an ordinary spiritual herb. You can buy and sell it at the market. For a young friend like you to come here to sell, it must be a rather precious spiritual herb. Yes, it's the 3 treasures flower with a 350-year medicine spirit. Scholar, elder medicine, filial piety. Fellow cultivator, could this be a mistake? Who would raise such an ordinary 3 treasures flower for 350 years? If you can really produce a 350-year-old 3 treasures flower, I'll eat this table right here. You flip your hand, and a massive 3 treasures flower appears, spanning the entire room. Elder medicine's smile freezes. The green-shelled elder says, Elder wrong, please authenticate this. His gaze becomes intense, carefully assessing. HMMTHE medicinal properties are abundant. It truly is a medicinal spirit that's over 350 years old. This 3 treasure flower is worth 2,500 spirit stones. This item can be sold to our auction house. A one-time full payment. You will have no further dealings with us. Second auction. Starting bid is 2,000 spirit stones. The final transaction price is uncertain for anyone. Based on the final transaction price, we will split at 3070. Young friend can personally observe the auction process. I guarantee there will be no fraud. Lu Bo calculated. A 3-7 split. This rare 3 treasure flower must sell for over 3,600 spirit stones. The spirit stones he received must exceed the amount of 2,005. Will someone spend this much spirit stone to buy this rare 3 treasure flower? Just as Lu Bo was preparing to be cautious, selecting the guaranteed 2,005 spirit stones, suddenly a crisp and pleasant voice came from the room. A clear and melodious voice. What is there to fear? Wealth and fortune are sought through risks. Let's go to the auction. Surely, it will sell for more spirit stones. The voice came from behind Lu Bo. No need to ask who said that. Uphold military virtue and filial piety. Have you thought it through, young friend? If you can't decide, why not listen to your little spirit beast? Lu Bo gritted his teeth and said, Alright, then let's auction it. Come here. Take this item to the auction. As today's pledged item. Someone entered through the back door. They took the 3 treasure flower away. Young friend, you can now directly enter from the back door. Enter the auction hall to watch the auction. No need to pay a deposit. Thank you, senior. Lu Bo stood up, and was about to take his leave. Suddenly turned around and asked, Senior. Junior boldly asked a question. You are a dignified core formation expert. Were you there when Jian Bao you came to check on the dog's eyes? Kai Wai Jun smiled lightly. He said, a joke. In my life, Kai Wai Jun has protected countless. If someone can commit fraud right under my nose, commit counterfeit crimes, I would eat this jade table on the spot. In the course of conversation, Kai Wai Jun was full of pride, as if he had complete faith in his safeguarding skills. He was utterly confident. If you, my young friend, have more treasures like this in the future, feel free to bring them to our auction house. We welcome you at any time. I see now. Thank you. Lu Bo walked out. In secret, he thought that after they realized they had been scammed, they probably wouldn't welcome him back. He exited the protection room, heading towards the auction house. He walked toward the back door. On the way, he quietly said to the little fox with a fierce tone, If we lose, I'll sell you for snacks. Moreover, you're not allowed to speak anymore. After arriving at the auction house, Lu Bo casually found a spot in a corner to sit. He watched the auction unfold. Here, Lu Bo saw quite a few family's members. And all the elder funds were present. Clearly, many were here to hunt for bargains, hoping to discover some good items here. However, it could only be picking up leftovers. After all, this auction will be held every day. Lu Bo indeed saw many rare treasures. But unfortunately, he was short on funds. Can't afford anything. After a few more rounds of bidding, the auction is nearing its end. Finally, it's Lu Bo's turn for his 3 rare flower. The elderly host on stage said loudly, "Ladies and gentlemen, next up is the highlight of our auction, a 3 rare flower." As soon as these words were spoken, there was a murmur from below. People began to chatter. What's so special about the 3 rare flower? The old man continued with a smile. As everyone knows, the 3 rare flower is an important material for refining the recovery spirit pill. And the recovery spirit pill is something that can quickly heal injuries, and a life-saving item for spiritual energy. Its importance is self-evident. The longer the medicinal spirit of the 3 rare flower, the better the effect of the recovery spirit pill made from it. And this particular 3 rare flower has been personally authenticated by Kai Y Jun, has 350 years of medicinal spirit. It's easy to imagine how powerful its medicinal properties are. Moreover, this 3 rare flower was picked less than a day ago, and its cut has been personally sealed by Kai Y Jun. Its medicinal power will not be lost. Everyone can bid with confidence. After the old man finished speaking, he enjoyed the shocked expressions of the crowd below. A group of people began to discuss. Kai Y's products are definitely top quality. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd below was astonished. The 3 treasures flower with 350 years of medicinal spirit. You must know, the 3 treasures flower is an extremely common herb. An herb with over 300 years of medicinal spirit. It's also not considered rare. But who has nothing to do would cultivate such a worthless herb like the 3 treasures flower for over 300 years? Wouldn't that just be taking up the medicinal fields for nothing? This also leads to the 3 treasures flower with over 300 years of medicinal spirit becoming extremely rare. At this moment, a young cultivator stood up and said, "Master, you can't be serious, right? A 3 treasures flower with 300 years of medicinal spirit? How is that possible? Who would be so bored to cultivate a 3 treasures flower for so many years? Which old monster has nothing better to do? Perhaps it's wild. That's also possible. Of course, this has been personally verified by us. If the fellow Taoist doesn't believe, we welcome supervision. Anyone who has doubts can come up to personally verify," the old man said with a smile. "Then I will test it out." The young man stood up and solemnly reported, "I am Zhao Weiyan, a pillmaster from Danja Peak. I want to make a statement first. I don't doubt Senior Kai Y Jun, but I am truly delighted to witness. I have never seen a 3 treasures flower with such age. Therefore, I wish to take a look, just to broaden my horizons. With Kai Y Jun and Master Zhao backing it up, we naturally trust you. Alchemist, please go and take a look." "Yeah, we're all waiting for the results." The crowd began to clamor. The top EA alchemist Zhao Weiyan also stepped forward. The host brought out the Sanjian flower. He placed it on the table. Seeing such a large Sanjian flower, the crowd gasped in amazement. Zhao Weiyan looked at it first. Then he smelled it. Afterwards, he touched it. And finally infused it with spirit energy. He took a moment to carefully feel the medicinal power within that Sanjian flower. After a moment, he nodded and said, "It indeed contains over 350 years of medicinal spirit. This is too rare." The host asked, "What is the starting bid for this Sanjian flower?" "I Zhao Weiyan will take it. I will personally refine it into a revitalizing pill. I aim to produce the most perfect revitalizing pill. With this pill, I will rise to the master level." As soon as he said this, the crowd below was filled with astonishment. Everyone knew that alchemists are divided into low tier, mid tier, and high tier, with master and grandmaster levels as well. The pills produced at these levels are also categorized in the same way. Within the entire yin-yang sect, there isn't a single grandmaster alchemist. There are only 3 masters. And Zhao Weiyan is hailed as the leading talent of the younger generation in alchemy. He is the most promising young genius to break into master level. With this Sanjian flower, he might really be able to refine a pill that can unleash the power of stone into medicine. Break through to the master level. People have high hopes for him. Only Lu Bo was secretly wondering whether he had trapped an innocent victim. The host emphasized filial piety. Zhao Dan urged everyone to be patient. "Please take your seats and start bidding. The auction naturally belongs to the highest bidder. That should be the case. I truly apologize for being presumptuous." After finishing his words, Zhao Weiyan returned to his seat, but his gaze remained intense. The host emphasized filial piety again. "I announce, the starting bid for the Sanjian flower is 2010. Each bid must not be less than 100. The bidding begins. I bid 2005. Zhao Weiyan was the first to stand up and bid. It was clear that he was determined to win. But those who wanted this treasure, clearly he was not the only one. Immediately, several people followed with bids. Even if they couldn't refine pills, they could still hire a familiar alchemist to make it. I bid 2006. 2007. My Lu family bids 2008. My Fu family bids 2009. 3000. My Long family bids 3000. Who dares to compete with me? Hearing someone from the Long family call out, Lu Bo couldn't help but perk up. His gaze shifted to that person from the Long family. That should be an elder from the Long family. After all, their family head couldn't possibly come personally. Every day at the auction, huh? I Zhao Weiyan, bid 3001. Zhao Weiyan was clearly anxious. They've already called out his name. Clearly, the price of this triple essence flower has already exceeded its original value. Others aren't really bidding anymore, but he still really wants it. My Long family offers 3,200. My Lu family offers 3,300. Now it's just these three families left to bid. Lu, are you determined to go against me? The elder from the Long family was clearly anxious. He pointed at the person from the Lu family and said. The elder from the Lu family sneered. What do you mean by going against you? My niece Lu Ryuan has recently gained many insights into alchemy. She's close to advancing from intermediate to advanced grade. Once she advances, this old man will use this triple essence flower as a congratulatory gift for her. Is that not allowed? Lu Bo was left speechless. This flower, after going around in circles, is going to end up back in Lu Ruan's hands. If he knew that his own elder spent thousands of spirit stones to buy a useless flower, wouldn't he be furious? My Long family offers 3,500. Then my Lu family will offer 3,600. I Zhao Huayan bid 3,800. My Lu family bids 3,900. My Long family bids 4,000. I Zhao Huayan bid 4,300. Esteemed seniors, please give me, Zhao Huayan, some face. This opportunity is very important to me. Zhao Huayan clasped his hands respectfully towards the two. The elder from the Lu family chuckled. Since Master Zhao spoke up, my Lu family will give you this face. I hope that Master Zhao will provide more guidance in the future. My niece. I will certainly. Zhao Huayan said with joy. Lu Bo felt quiet and calm inside, then continued to raise the bid. My Long family bids 4,005. Sure enough, the Long family did not disappoint Lu Bo's expectations. They immediately increased their bid. That Lu Ryuan from your family, in order to escape the selection of a stolen woman, actually chose a servant disciple as her partner. It really makes one laugh out loud. But that little servant will still have to sit on the sidelines every day. Your Lu family's reputation has certainly been ruined by him. An elder from the Lu family immediately retorted. Our Lu family's daughters can choose whoever they want, as long as they are happy. We won't follow your underhanded ways. Strength comes from self-reliance. Sacrificing children's happiness for power and profit. That is what truly brings shame. Since it was his choice, then he is a waste. Our Lu family respects his choice as well, and we can also cultivate that waste into an elite. Lu Bo was very touched to hear this. Back when he was at home, an elder from the Long family laughed and said, Master Zhao, this herb, why not let it belong to our Long family? I assure you, after we collect the herbs later, I will simply give them to you. You can refine them. The elixirs you produce, you can use the best one for your advancement. The rest will be used by our Long family. This way, we both win. What do you think? Wen Yan's eyes lit up with excitement. This is great. He can advance without spending any money. And the Long family also received the medicinal pills. It's truly a win-win situation. It's settled then. In that case, thank you, friend from the Long family. Upon seeing this, unfortunately, he could have earned a bit more. Instead, he was disrupted by the Long family. Wait a minute. The pills that were refined were meant for the Long family. Thinking of this, Lu Bo's guilt about deceiving others lessened significantly. Lu Bo didn't know that the pit he casually dug now would greatly affect Long Aocean on the first day of next month. It would lead to a severe loss for Long Aocean. In the end, the parties completed the transaction. With Kai Wai Jun and Zhao Wai Yun as endorsers, the Long family had no doubts about the authenticity of the herbs. They immediately proceeded with the transaction. The 3-needle flower belongs to the Long family. 4,500 snacks. Afterwards, the auction came to an end. Lu Bo was led by Xiao Si to the accounting room to settle the snacks. The accountant held an abacus, and after calculating with a series of clicks, he said to Lu Bo, 4,500 snacks. The split is 70-30. Your share is 3,150 snacks. Here are your snacks. Please count them carefully. The accountant handed Lu Bo a storage bag, and then went off to attend to other matters. Things like storage bags are not considered rare. Generally, transactions over 1,000 snacks at the auction house will include one as a gift. The person accounting for it only needs a sweep of spiritual consciousness to clearly count the snacks inside the storage bag. Unfortunately, Lu Bo is not a resident wall user and has not developed spiritual consciousness. He cannot elegantly sweep with his spiritual consciousness, but to avoid showing weakness, he also believes that such a large auction house wouldn't try to cheat him. Thus, he went out directly with the storage bag. After arriving outside, Heliki last time pricked his blood on the storage bag to authenticate it, and then opened it. He saw that it was packed with snacks inside. For a moment, he couldn't even count how many there were. Little Lu has struck it rich, struck it rich. How many of these snacks are you planning to share with me? The voice of the little fox came to his ear. Lu Bo turned his head to look. He saw that the little fox had climbed out. Its little head was poking on her shoulder, blinking its big eyes at the storage bag. I'm going to buy something first. After buying, anything left over is yours to eat freely. But you must not spend it all. Remember to save some for me. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't earn so many snacks. The little fox was extremely happy. Originally, Lu Bo could only earn 2,500. Now he has earned over 3,000. The extra is all his achievement. I understand now. Don't speak anymore. Don't let others find out. Lu Bo put away the storage bag. The little fox's head was pressed back into the bundle. After that, he was shaking the power atop his head as he walked forward. When he turned a corner, he occasionally glanced back, fearing that someone might be following him. Sneaky and stealthy, Based on the memory of the location, Lu Bo made several turns, and arrived at this area, dedicated to the way of cultivation. After all, among these mountains, there were still quite a few mortals living. The large number of these mortals also provided the Yin-Yang sect with a source of disciples, and Lu Bo was also outside the Yin-Yang sect, a member of the village at the foot of the mountains. He lived in a farm family during his childhood, working the fields with his parents every day, occasionally reading some books. His days were happy and fulfilling, relaxed and easygoing. Later, when he was 13, his parents exhausted their savings to buy him a spot as a servant disciple, and then both went missing. At that time, he searched for his parents for a long time. Whenever he had a break, he would go down the mountain to look for them, but he just couldn't find them. His own yard and fields were also left untended. Eventually, he gave up. Plus, he couldn't seem to cultivate successfully, so he planned to return home after 5 years. Return to my hometown to continue farming and soaking up the sun, living a carefree and laid-back life. But now it's not possible. He has earned Long Aocean's resentment. It's better to stay in the sect. It's a bit safer. He plans to set up a protective array when he returns, to secure the small courtyard, and then continue to lay back. The requirements for this defensive array are not high. It should hold up until he can just call for the enforcement team. Lu Bo arrived at the largest treasure pavilion in the array. He strode inside. Fellow cultivator, please come in. May I ask what type of magical item you need? I can recommend some for you. At the entrance, a young cultivator approached, wearing clothes with the shop's emblem. I would like a protective array. May I ask where it is? Lu Bo asked politely. The array is on the second floor. Please follow me. The guiding cultivator walked alongside, while introducing to Lu Bo. Our treasure pavilion here has many treasures, all brought in from various places. There are also quite a few magical items and spirit treasures, arrays, etc., all crafted by the disciples of our sect. The elders refined them, guaranteed to be of good quality and reasonably priced. The best quality, fellow cultivator can buy with confidence. The Yin-Yang sect's aura and wind. Lu Bo is aware of this. Famous for engraving arrays with qi cultivation, just like the Danja style. Famous for alchemy. The herbs in Lu Bo's medicinal field, most of them are provided for Danja Feng. Of course, among the main styles of the Yin-Yang sect, they primarily focus on cultivation. Even Danja Feng and Keijun Feng's alchemy and qi cultivation are merely supplementary. As a disciple of the Yin-Yang sect, Lu Bo can certainly go to Keijun Feng to directly purchase items. Moreover, the prices are significantly lower than here. However, purchasing magic treasures at Keijun Feng requires registering a name. Noe is somewhat of a celebrity within the Yin-Yang sect. He's considered a notable figure, big or small. Lu Bo really doesn't want to attract attention. As he followed that person forward, Lu Bo's gaze kept scanning the treasures on the first floor. He passed by the display counter or shelf for sword-type treasures. The dazzling array of swords on the shelves left him dazzled. The cheapest ones are the outermost spiritual energy swords, which are the lowest quality. Moving further into the spirit treasures. Spirit treasures are more powerful than spiritual energy items. Their might is also greater. As for the more powerful magical weapons, they are not displayed here. Every weapon here is exquisite. As he walked, suddenly a light blue sword caught Lu Bo's attention. The sword emitted a faint blue glow. It was engraved with traces of a runic array. The entire sword had a streamlined shape, making it very beautiful. There were also inscriptions written below. Summer grade spirit treasure, wind control sword. The tour guide seemed to have taken a liking to this flying sword. The tour guide, a cultivator, explained with a smile. This flying sword is an outer world treasure, a summer grade spirit treasure. Using this sword for wind flight, its speed far surpasses that of ordinary flying swords. If a cultivator with a wind spirit root were to use it, it would be even more compatible. It could better mobilize wind attribute spiritual energy. Both its speed and power are exceptionally strong. Unfortunately, wind spirit roots are extremely rare. Thus, this sword has never been bought by anyone. If the tour guide wants it, the original price of this sword is 2,000 spirit stones. I can make a decision to give you a 10% discount. I can sell it to you for 1,800 spirit stones. What do you think? Lu Bo couldn't help but think of the time he parted ways with Lu Ruyuan yesterday. Lu Ruan's graceful figure as she flew away on her sword. If she also had a flying sword, and learned sword control techniques, then even if she were being chased, she could make a quick escape. And she possesses a wind spirit root. This sword is exceptionally compatible with her, and so on. If I could buy this sword, I would give it to Lu Ruyuan. Then, if I could bless it and return it, wouldn't that make it a mid-grade spiritual treasure Wind Shuxing flying sword? A mid-grade spiritual treasure, worth over 10,000 spirit stones. But Lu Bo only has a little over 3,000 spirit stones right now. He still needs to buy formations as well. There's no choice. Lu Bo gritted his teeth. Speaking of which, he might as well see the formations first. Alright. Tour guide, please follow me. The instructor smiled slightly, leading Lu Bo upstairs. In the large area on the second floor, various formation illustrations are categorized and displayed. Only illustrations. Unique formations are not displayed there. After the guest makes their selection, someone will go fetch the formations and bring them over. There are spiritual formations here, defensive formations, teleportation formations, offensive formations, and the spirit array techniques, etc. A dazzling array of options. Countless options. The tour guide. This area is dedicated to protective arrays. Please see if there's anything you like that suits you. You can choose as you wish. Lu Bo's gaze swept across the rows of arrays. The top ones. He didn't even glance at that row. Those arrays can only be set up with single cultivation modifications. They easily cost tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of spirit stones. Then he looked lower down. These are in the 5,000 to 10,000 range. Not looking. The ones in the 3,000 to 5,000 range. Not looking. Only looking at those under 3,000. The tour guide seeks arrays that pursue ultimate defense, or those that can balance offense and defense, while defending against enemy attacks. It can also inflict some counter damage, or arrays with some additional functions. For example, spirit enhancement, teleportation, etc. Naturally, they can have other purposes. For example, look at this, the Fox counter damage array. Formed using the power of the Tiger Bell's roar, guided by the 5 elemental positions. Composed of a 5-element array, it is unbreakable and solid. It can balance offense and defense when an enemy's attack hits it. The array absorbs part of it while also countering some back to the attacker. Now look at this, the Blood Armor teleportation array. It uses the blood of assisting spirit beasts as a guide, combined with teleportation power. In terms of protective effects, it is not as good as the Fox's counter-injury formation. However, it comes with a teleportation effect. If the enemy breaks the protective formation, then, at the moment the formation shatters, this teleportation array can be activated for an immediate transfer. But this is a one-time use, after all, the formation has been broken. Furthermore, the teleportation is random, it might send you anywhere. Lu Bo looked at the two formations before him. One can provide protection and also counter the opponent. But once broken, it can only be helplessly subdued. The other can directly teleport away once broken. But it is uncertain where it will end up. These two additional effects are life-saving skills for others. But for Lu Bo, they are disadvantages. Because if he is besieged, he will certainly have to present himself as a weakling before the law enforcement hall. When the law enforcement hall arrives, he will be unscathed while his enemies are covered in wounds. He would be the one taken away. As for the other teleportation, who knows where it will send him? The cultivation world is so chaotic, and the outside world is very dangerous. If he ends up next to a demonic cultivator, or in the lair of a beast, wouldn't they be delivering himself as a meal? At that moment, the little fox behind spoke again. What are you afraid of? Wealth and fortune come with risks, just get the one that can teleport. Worst case, we can just run away and become wandering cultivators. Lu Bo was filled with frustration. Is that really how you think? The main thing is that one is cheap. It's only 1,500 for snacks. The first one is too expensive, it costs 2,500. The little fox said with a mischievous grin. After talking for quite a while, he wanted to save some snacks for himself. These two formations can withstand attacks from enemies of what realm? Lu Bo asked the most critical question. Check the time below the machine level. See when it wears out. Above the machine level, the former can at least withstand 3 full force attacks. The latter can also withstand 2. After setting it up, if we change locations, can it be moved? Of course. The array instruments and materials can all be moved. Just pull it out. The materials are all inside the formation. Lu Bo stroked his chin. He said, this one is 1,500. Yes. The sword below is 1,800. That adds up to 3,300. Could you lower the price a bit more? How about a discount? I'll buy both. How about 2,500 for both? Lu Bo gritted his teeth. He planned to negotiate thoroughly, because he only had 3,100. That guide is quite fierce too. This is the first time he has encountered such a bargaining situation. The prices they quote are all at full price. But the boss said, they can decide based on circumstances. Give a 10% discount. In fact, this 10% discount means they are all still at full price. The quoted prices are slightly higher. They just want to take advantage of the big spender. But someone like Lu Bo, to suddenly offer a 25% discount, that's quite ruthless. This is the first time I've seen that. Fellow cultivator, the price I mentioned is already discounted. The Wind Bell sword is 1,800 after defeating a snake, because that one is hard to sell. This blood armor teleportation array cannot be discounted. However, given that you are buying 2 at once, I can lower it by at most another 110. 3,200. You see, how does that sound to you? You already said, that sword doesn't sell well. You just happen to meet someone who likes it, and wants to buy it. Why not just sell it to me? Just sitting there. You're not selling it? It won't turn into a snack. Then it's useless. Sell it to me. You'll also get a snack. You can get rid of one item too. Useless junk that can't be sold. Moreover, this large array, it's one-time use. Once it's broken, it's gone. After I use it, I'll definitely come back to buy from you. You've given me a nice discount this time. I'll come back to you next time, so you can generate more profit. What do you say? 3,001. Can't go any lower. 2,008. Can't bring it up any further. I don't have that many snacks left. 2,008. 3,001. I'm not the shopkeeper. I can't give you such a big discount. Then you can ask the shopkeeper. Alright then. Wait for me, okay? The instructor finished speaking. He left with a sigh. He has never encountered such a stingy and unresponsive customer. Lu Bo continued to look at other formations. Soon, the instructor came back. He said to Lu Bo, fellow disciple, our manager said, let's make friends. 3,000 snacks. Not a single one less is acceptable. Because this price, the prices of weapons sold by Qi Zhenfeng, is already equivalent to, if you can buy from Qi Zhenfeng, you wouldn't come to us. Zhenbao Pavilion. We are merely doing simple business. We can't lose money in business. If you don't believe, you can go to Qi Zhenfeng to check this price. Their business here mainly caters to outside loose cultivators and family businesses, as well as some goods from Qi Zhenfeng. That cannot be purchased there. Ordinary disciples of the yin-yang sect do not really need to come here to buy. As for the items from Qi Zhenfeng of the yin-yang sect, they are only sold to their own disciples and elders, and are not sold to outsiders. Therefore, they often use various methods to source goods from Qi Zhenfeng. For example, some Qi training masters, after forging their weapons, do not submit them to the sect, and secretly take them down to sell. Do not record them. This is considered smuggling. Lu Bo tested it out. 2009. Welcome, fellow disciple, to come again next time. 3,000 is 3,000. Deal. Lu Bo had just received 1,550 snacks, and hadn't even warmed up yet. Before sending them out again, he handed over the snacks. The fellow disciple presented the wind bell sword. He handed the array materials to him. It also came with instructions for setting up the array. This simple array does not require a specialized array master to be arranged. Lu Bo put away the treasures. He left the treasure pavilion. He headed straight for the retail wind. He had made plans. First, he would take the little fox to register her identity. He wanted the little fox to become his private property. After ensuring his safety, he would let the little fox deliver the sword to Lu Riyuan tomorrow. After all, this sword is currently a low-grade treasure. Moreover, anyone who gets it can use it. If he gave it to Lu Riyuan, he could exchange it for a mid-grade spirit treasure, and only he would be able to use it. This way, he would be able to obtain a better weapon, and others wouldn't be able to use it even if they obtained it. Wouldn't it be delightful? Lu Bo knew the way to the Spirit Beast Peak. At this moment, seeing was not as good as flying. He quickly ran towards the Spirit Beast Peak. If only he could master sword flight. How wonderful that would be. He could fly straight there. Time-saving and labor-saving. In the latter half of the night, he arrived at the Spirit Beast Peak. He climbed to the peak, and found the registration office. In the world of cultivators, most places do not close at night. At this moment, the registration office was brightly lit. Various lighting formations and night pearls illuminated the room even brighter than during the day. Senior brother. Junior brother is here to register the Spirit Beast. Lu Bo approached the counter. Speaking as he took down the bundle from his back, he pulled out a little fox. The disciple, who was meditating with his eyes closed, opened his eyes and glanced at Lu Bo. He then calmly said, "Which senior brother's Spirit Beast is this? Why isn't he here to register and hand it over with you? It's not raised by me. I found it. I felt sorry for it, so I adopted it." Adopted? That's fine too. As long as it's registered, it meets the requirements. Have you done a species bloodline test? No. The Spirit Beast's cultivation level is just an ordinary fox without any cultivation. That's just called a beast, not a spirit beast. Are you trying to make fun of me? You're the beast. PFFT, PFFT, PFFT. The little fox bared its teeth, making a funny face, proving its toughness. It can talk. That's quite early for awakening intelligence. It looks a bit like a spirit fox. It should be it. I've registered you. The disciple nodded. Then he continued to speak. Master's name. Identity. Cultivation level. Lu Bo. A miscellaneous disciple of the Falling Sunset sect. No cultivation level. No cultivation level. Wild people match with beasts, huh? The disciple chuckled softly. He had never seen before such a strange combination. Alright. Registration is complete. This spirit fox is now yours. It belongs to you now. As for whether you sign a master-servant contract or a life and death contract, that's not my concern. Put this around its neck. Brand your soul mark. Only you can unlock it. The disciple took out a slender little collar. He handed it to Lu Bo. Lu Bo held the collar and put it around the little fox's neck. The little fox pouted in displeasure. Fortunately, Lu Bo didn't sign any contract with it. It is completely free and unrestrained. Otherwise, it would have scratched Lu Bo by now. After finishing, Lu Bo walked out. That small collar. It's just an identity tag. There's no other binding effect. After he went out, that disciple sat with his legs crossed. He took out communication talisman. He spoke softly. Second brother. The one who robbed you a couple of days ago. The Lu Bo from the Journey of Enlightenment. That servant disciple. Just now, he was on my side. I registered the identity of his spirit beast. He was heading down the mountain. He had dark eyes and a covered face. He wore a straw hat. He was holding a spirit fox. Just find someone to kill casually. Don't do it yourself. It's not worth getting your hands dirty for such trash. You are the pride of our family, after all. Don't get shit on your hands. After he finished speaking, he put away the communication talisman. He then continued his cultivation. Such matters. He just needs to say a word. It's impossible for him to take action personally, to kill a mere servant disciple. After all, he is from the Long family. Lu Bo held the little fox. Under the cover of night, he walked down the mountain. When he quickly reached the foot of the mountain, Lu Bo asked, "Little fox, are you a spirit fox?" "No, I'm not." "Then what kind of spirit beast are you?" "I forgot. I can't remember." On the little fox's face, full of seriousness and confusion, he said with a serious expression, "I don't even know who I am. What species am I? What spiritual beast? I don't even know where I came from. But I can eat snacks. After eating, I feel full. If I don't eat, I'm very hungry. But I vaguely feel that I am not a spirit fox. I have seen spirit foxes before. Their bloodlines are really too low level. My bloodline is much higher than theirs. It seems your bloodline is quite valuable. Why do you describe it as valuable instead of noble?" Instead of using noble, you used valuable. What do you want to do? It's nothing. I won't sell you. Do you want to keep me to sell my blood? Is your blood very valuable? Not valuable, not valuable. I'm just a wild beast. The little fox turned away, feeling guilty. By the way, how many snacks do we have left? You spendthrift. You just spent 3,000 all at once. There should be a bit more than 100 left, right? You're so poor. How can you support me? Did I ever say I would support you? Will you starve to death? Does that have anything to do with me? You heartless scoundrel. Calling me a good friend during the day. And now you've changed too. If not. The little fox's expression changed dramatically. Evil path. Quickly hide. There's malice. Classical language. Lu Bo immediately acted without hesitation. He sidestepped to the side. A flying sword suddenly appeared. It flashed past the spot where she had just walked. Lu Bo, drenched in cold sweat from the fright, couldn't help but feel a bit relieved. The little fox. This ability to sense malice is really useful. Suddenly, two shadows shot out from the bushes. Each held a sword. They charged at Lu Bo. They came to kill quickly. The little fox. Hurry and find the enforcers to save me. Lu Bo's expression changed drastically. He immediately drew his wind chime sword. He swung his sword at the fastest enemy charging at him. He didn't know what the opponent's strength was. But on this dark and windy night, there weren't many people around. Facing two enemies who could use swordsmanship, it was hard to run away. The little fox immediately jumped down from Lu Bo's shoulder. With a whoosh, it ran off into the distance. I must say, the little fox's speed is quite impressive. In the blink of an eye, it had reached a large rock in the distance. But it suddenly stopped there. It remained perched on the rock, blinking big eyes. Watching Lu Bo confront his opponent, Lu Bo swung his sword. The assassin clearly didn't take Lu Bo seriously. Facing the attack of a useless person, he didn't dodge or avoid it, letting that sword stab into himself. He also aimed to slash Lu Bo with a sword. However, in the next second, he was shocked and widened his eyes. He saw Lu Bo sidestep his arrow. The wind chime sword in his hand easily pierced through his chest. How could you possibly break my defense? The opposing assassin was very shocked. But Lu Bo did not hesitate. He directly crushed the opponent's heart with a strong kick. He knew that the physiological structure of a chi training apparatus was similar to that of a mortal. Stabbing the heart means death. Above the supportive strike. As long as the dantian and head are fine, one won't die. After neatly taking down this assassin, Lu Bo turned his head to look at another one. That assassin watched this scene in shock. Then he squinted his eyes slightly. Without hesitation, he turned and ran. He wanted to escape. Lu Bo wasn't about to let him go. Lu Bo didn't want to attract the enforcement team in a short time, because he didn't want to expose his cultivation level. If Long Aoshan found out his true cultivation level, he would send stronger assassins to kill him in the future. He would be in greater danger. Of course, if it really came down to not being able to win, he would still have to rely on the law enforcement team. Lu Bo stirred the spiritual energy within him, and immediately pursued the assassin. At this moment, his wind-attributed heaven's spiritual root played a significant role. The wind attribute is known for speed. Lu Bo was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he reached behind the assassin. He immediately swung his sword down. The assassin heard the menacing wind approaching from behind. Without hesitation, he turned and struck with his sword. It collided with Lu Bo's wind-spirit sword. With a shon sound, a sharp metallic clanging sound rang out. Lu Bo took 2 steps back. The assassin was knocked flying away as well. Lu Bo felt. The opponent seemed to be at most at the 7th or 8th level of cultivation. With his spiritual root and level of cultivation, he could easily defeat the opponent. However, the assassin did not want to fight Lu Bo any longer. He directly threw away his sword. It floated into the air. Then, he leapt up. He jumped onto the sword. He was about to fly away. Not good. Lu Bo was greatly startled. The opponent could use sword techniques. He could fly, but he couldn't fly. Yet he couldn't let the opponent escape. Otherwise, there would be constant trouble afterward. At this critical moment, the little fox in the distance suddenly leapt up. It jumped in front of the assassin. Starlight appeared in its eyes. It looked at the assassin. After the assassin saw the starlight, he immediately felt a strong dizziness. He lost control of his flying sword. It fell directly to the ground, and the little fox also tumbled onto its back. It lay on the ground, yelping pitifully. Lu Bo seized the opportunity. He leapt up. He urged the wind to tribute spiritual energy. In the blink of an eye, he reached the assassin's side. He killed him instantly. After killing the assassin, Lu Bo looked up. He saw 2 glowing rays flying in from the north. Someone was approaching from that direction. He couldn't tell if it was the assassin, or the law enforcement hall, or perhaps just passers-by. No matter who it was, Lu Bo couldn't let them discover him. He immediately grabbed the assassin's body, and stored it in his storage bag. He then flashed over to another assassin's side. He also collected that one. The storage bag still hold everything. After completing all this, Lu Bo quickly ran to the little fox. He grabbed it in one swift motion. He maneuvered among the rocks. In the blink of an eye, he vanished into the night. In the sky, the 2 figures came to a halt. They hovered in the air. Both were dressed in light blue robes. There was an emblem on their left chests. The emblem featured a sword pointing downwards. The hilt had a pole, with 2 circles on either side. That symbol represented scales. This was the emblem of the law enforcement hall. The scales symbolize fairness and justice. They also represent the mindset of every disciple of the law enforcement hall. Everyone needs to have a scale. The scale enforces the law impartially, fair and selfless. And that sword represents judgment and punishment. It symbolizes the authority of the law enforcement hall. The disciples of the National Character Academy watched Lu Bo's retreating figure as he turned and moved away. Suddenly, he laughed and said, "This kid is quite decisive and efficient." Facing the attack of two assassins, the counterattack took no more than a few breaths. He picked up the body and ran. Killing him is just killing him. Without dragging things out, the disciple from the Sharp Connection frowned and said, "Senior brother Lu, but he killed someone. Aren't we going to arrest him? If he had killed a disciple, but he killed a sneaky assassin. We don't even know which family raised him. He doesn't have a proper identity. He killed him and that's that." Junior brother. As a disciple of the law enforcement hall, you must have your own sense of justice. Our disciple was assassinated. We should help him even more. Right now, the enemy is weak. He was counterkilled by our junior brother. Are we really going to arrest our own junior brother? We should just invite the master over. He would say something too. Well done with the killing. Those dogs who send assassins to kill their own kind. They should all die instead. I actually think this kid is quite interesting. His killing method is decisive. He is suitable to join our law enforcement hall. Let's go see. Let's see what identity he claims. Let's pay more attention to him in the future. If he is innocent, then let's try to take him in. Senior brother. I'll listen to you. Lu Bo ran at full speed all the way. After reaching the mountain bottom, he hurried along the winding path once again, finally arrived at the foot of the Zibian Luoxia peak, in his own little house. If it weren't for those two disciples from the enforcement hall, staring at him from above, he would have actually lost him. Lu Bo sat on the bed, breathing heavily. He sat down to chat, took out a spirit stone, to replenish his physical strength and spiritual energy. That last battle actually didn't exhaust him. Much spiritual energy and stamina, mainly from rushing back, consumed too much spiritual energy and stamina. At this moment, his condition was quite bad. He needed to recover quickly. The little fox seemed very tired as well, looking lethargic, sitting nearby, squinting, holding a spirit stone, putting it in its mouth, chewing gently. In the sky outside the door, led by senior brother Lu, two disciples from the enforcement hall, watching that ordinary little courtyard, and the surrounding almost identical little courtyards. Senior brother Lu hasn't arrived here. Isn't this the residence of the servant disciples? Qin Lian, the junior disciple, nodded and said, "It seems to be the residence of the servant disciples responsible for the plantation area. Everyone has their own assigned area. It was right in his own yard. This is yard number 8 in the first row. Alright. We'll check back when we return, and we'll know." Two disciples from the enforcement hall. They quickly flew towards the summit of the Falling Sunset Peak. Arrived at the law enforcement hall branch of Falling Sunset Peak. Requested the information of the servant disciples from the senior brother. Courtyard number 8. There are two people living there. Wang Bian and Lu Bo. Lu Bo. This name sounds very familiar. The concerned disciple glanced at senior brother Lu and said, "The law enforcement hall of Falling Sunset Peak next door." The disciple laughed and said, "Isn't it familiar? Isn't that your brother-in-law, Lu Weiyang?" "What brother-in-law? Where would I have a brother-in-law?" Senior brother Lu exclaimed in surprise. "Just the day before yesterday, your sister Lu Ruyuan formed a partnership with this Lu Bo. You didn't know? I really had no idea about that. However, in this courtyard, there are only these two people living now. Isn't that right?" Lu Weiyang was indeed asking. The disciple from the law enforcement hall of Falling Sunset Peak thought for a moment, and said, "No. Today the Outer Gate disciples seem to have sent a registration form. It says that Wang Bian moved to the Outer Gate disciples' residence. In that house, there is currently only Lu Bo alone. What cultivation level does this Lu Bo have? Cultivation level? He has no cultivation level at all. He is a well-known useless person near and far. He has been in the sect for 5 years and hasn't even cultivated any spiritual energy. The entire Falling Sunset Peak is the most useless. I was supposed to be expelled from the sect next month, but I ended up getting lucky. Your sister ended up choosing the path for me. This matter, you Lu family should manage it a bit. He definitely won't be driven away now." Lu Weiyang paused for a moment, then nodded. He said, "Alright then. That Lu Bo, doesn't he have a white spirit fox? Who knows about that? I wouldn't care about a mere servant disciple if I had nothing else to do." "Fine then.